Ich hab kein Beef, football cards, we're here to light the fire. Spin facts and stats, you know we never tire. Bringing the heat up, that passion won't retire. Busting through the mic, our voices never expire. We ignite the spirit, never fading out. Light the torch, USC fans rise up high. On this podcast, we aim for the sky. Knowledge and entertainment never lie. Together we stand, let the truth amplify.
What's going on, Trojan fans? We have a great show today, so we'll go ahead and get into it right away. I'll go ahead and introduce the normal guys here, and then we'll get our the main event here. If you guys don't know him, I don't know if you guys are a USC fan at this point, but we'll go ahead and get the other guys out of the way. So we got Mr. B. Jones at the top. How's it going, B. Jones?
I'm good, man. Okay, so we're just the other guys now, huh? Just chop liver over here.
Guys right now.
The rest is on.
They know you guys, so it's okay. And then we got Guns. He runs our Twitch channel. He every Tuesday we always play another team. Who are we playing this week, Guns?
Yeah, we played Mizzou Tuesday. We're actually going to start doing streams on Thursday, and then we got Auburn tomorrow. So yeah.
And if there's any recruits out there that want to challenge Guns, let us know, and then you can get the smoke with Guns. And then we got Mr. Raul Flores, the king of the streets. How's it going, Raul?
Fellas? It's going great.
All right, so then to my left, you got the man of the hour. If you guys follow anything about USC Twitter, you would see this cute little dog here. Right up front here is Mr. Fight On Rusty, aka Arrogant Rusty. How's it going, Arrogant?
Hey, what's going on, guys? And I'm just. I'm the nobody here. You guys are the main show. I'm just I'm in the presence of greatness with you guys. So I appreciate you guys having me on here.
You are too kind, sir. Like, okay, all of our haters follow you. Okay, like Notre Dame, Oregon, they probably follow you. They know who you are. They don't really know us, but if they want to talk smack to USC, they always talk smack to you. Isn't that right?
I'm like the gateway door to the rest of the fan base, I guess.
That's fair.
Yeah, so chat, if you guys have any questions for Rusty, definitely get them in there. We'll try to make sure that they're good questions, and don't try to get stuff out of him or whatever. But all right, so first off, Rusty, go ahead and give us a little bit of history about who Arrogant Nation is.
Yeah, so USC alumni, went to USC for what my parents would say way too long. Went to USC for a couple of years. Really enjoyed my time there a little bit too much, but ultimately fell in love with the football program, and something that, I think I've been around USC football since I was like 3 or 4 years old. Like, one of my first memories is in the Coliseum, whether it's at a Raiders game or at a USC game. Like, I feel like I was born and raised in the Collie. So always been a passionate USC fan. One of my first memories is watching us beat Northwestern in the Rose Bowl, and I think it was 96 or 97. So yeah, I've been there through bad years, though I didn't know it as a kid. Just really enjoyed watching the games, and then obviously the Pete Carroll years, and then the last couple of years are what they are. But I think we have a very unique program where we expect greatness. It's not just something that a couple of jerseys is going to get you, or a couple of uniform change is going to get you. And we've been to the pinnacle, we've been to the championship, we've won many trophies. So I see being a USC fan as kind of like one of those honors where we get to, be fans of one of the greatest programs of all time. So, just love the program. Started this Twitter probably 2019, 2018. People don't know this used to be like an Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim Twitter account. So I have a lot of legacy Angels fans that still follow me for some reason. Made the switch over to be like full-time USC, and haven't looked back since. Making memes is fun. I don't think that people understand how little energy it takes to do it. People think you just sit online and make this stuff all day. It's crazy. So, but anyways, love the program. Love being a part of USC Twitter. We have so many great fans out there, and it's only getting better. I mean, we see folks that are making edits nonstop, or really hyping up the recruits. Like, it's a very different Twitter environment than it was a couple of years ago, and I'm just glad to be a part of it. Really.
Yeah, see, my favorite memes or the favorite things that you do is the videos that you do of Chad Bowden or Coach Henny, like how you do those AI videos. I've always wanted to ask you how you do those, because I've looked it up and I still can't figure out how to do that.
Anyone can do that. It takes no work there. That's on Viggle, Viggle. It's an app.
Okay.
Yeah. If you can pick a right picture and just have it do the work for you, you're basically a genius.
All right, I got that here now.
And I was gonna say, you guys have a lit intro, so whoever made that, that's sick.
That's AI as well.
The song was AI, and I just did the video in the background. So
yeah, that's awesome.
I just told them to do a USC fight song, and that's what it came up with. So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice, man.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get into this here. We do already have some questions in here, so put your questions in there, and we'll get to them after we hit our questions here. But we'll go ahead and start with B. Jones. If you go ahead and fire away your first question, then.
My first question is, what is your favorite memory in the Coliseum as a fan?
Man, my favorite memory. So I was lucky enough to be at that Fresno State game where Reggie Bush went off.
Oh, wow.
It was way past my bedtime. I should have been home like 3 hours before. People don't know that game started at like 8 o'clock, and the court was just lit. Like, it was packed. That was like prime Pete Carroll era, obviously. But I mean, for Fresno State, the Coliseum was completely full for an 8 o'clock game. So I don't know why people like to mess around and say, LA fans don't go to the Coliseum for night games. Like, that's BS. If they have a reason to go to games, they're going to show up to games. Anyway, that's my favorite moment. I mean, just seeing him go off sideline to sideline, just putting it and having his Heisman moment in front of a sold out crowd, national TV, halfway through the season against pretty good Fresno State team. Like, that wasn't a slouch of a team at all. They were a top 25 team. That was awesome. Like, that's one of my best memories, being live in a game. As far as like memories, just like being a fan itself, probably, winning the Orange Bowl against Oklahoma. I think that is hands down one of the best memories that a lot of us have as USC fans. I mean, if you can blow out one of the top teams in the nation in a fan base that is probably one of the biggest, I'll be nice. They're not too bad. That game. Just like, you just remember bits and pieces of that game. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
The clipping right here.
That's awesome.
It's down lately, so we don't hear much about them anymore.
One guy one guy actually reached out to me. He's like, yeah, Rusty went at us a couple of years, or our fan base tried to go at Rusty a couple of years ago. And to be honest, he kind of beat us up a little bit. I was like, thanks, man. That really means a lot.
Like, a lot of fans go at you, though. Like, a lot of just other teams, they try to go at you, but then, like, you always clap back at them. So,
especially Oregon.
Yeah.
Oregon is too easy. Too easy,
Yeah.
man. They set themselves up every time, and it's funny.
All right, Guns, go ahead and shoot with another question here.
Yeah, so it's actually not a USC related question. So I'm a dog lover. I would love to know the star of your your social media account. Just talk about your dog.
Yeah, so dog is Cooper, just so everyone is aware. It confuses the vet too when I say my name's Rusty and the dog's name is Cooper. Yeah, first time we went to the vet, he's like, we're gonna take Rusty's temperature. I was like, no, you're not. You're not sticking that to me. But Cooper, Australian Shepherd, was living in Boston when we got him. He's 4.5. He's actually sitting on the floor next to me. 4.5 years old, turns 5 this year. Ultimate good boy. Loves just having a good time out here now in Southern California. He must have been something I said because he got up and left just a second ago. I must have heard that you were talking about him. But he's awesome. He's such a good dog. Loves everyone around him, loves people, tries to go home with new families every time that we're at a dog park or out at like a winery. So I think he likes us. I'm not really sure, but he is the face of Arrogant Nation Fight on Rusty. So he is a good a boy as they can be.
Yeah, very smart dogs too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Love the eyes too. The eyes look great.
Yeah.
All right, bro, go ahead and shoot another question here.
So mine is USC related, Rusty. It might be a tough one to answer, but
Oh God, you want to take my question?
sorry, BC, if I did. I was gonna say, who's your Mount Rushmore for USC?
Ooh. This is tough. So I got to put Reggie Bush up there because I don't know if he definitely is one of the greatest of all time for USC. Probably not number one at USC because we've had so many great players. God, I'm probably going to get shit for this, but OJ Simpson is definitely up there as one of the greats. I mean, the player, not the guy. Like, he absolutely dominated. And, like, we haven't seen a player like him since. Definitely haven't seen a person like him since, so that's a good thing. But, you know. Trying to go, like, position-based because I don't want to throw all running backs up there because that's just too easy. Keyshawn, I put up there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Who else? I kind of throw a quarterback, right? We are QBU. I think I would go with Caleb over Matt Leinart. I hope Matt Leinert's not listening. But I would go Caleb over Matt Leinart. I mean, Caleb was generational. I think maybe that's just in a couple of years I might not be the same. Obviously, Matt Leinart won national championships, but gotta go with Caleb there. Let's see. Yeah. So was that 4? That's my favorite.
4 so far.
That's 4.
Yeah.
I was actually
Defense.
surprised with Keyshawn actually.
Keyshawn is like
Keyshawn was dominant.
there's
Man.
there's only 2 modern wide receivers that have been drafted number 1 all time. Keyshawn and then some other guy who did nothing. So, it just shows how dominant Keyshawn was as a player. I don't think he was focused all the time at USC, but he was the most dominant wide receiver in all of college football. He's the most dominant player in all of college football during his last year at USC. So talk about a guy that can just take over a game. Him with the ball in his hands was unreal.
Yep.
Fair enough. All right, so since Raul took my question here, I'll go ahead and come up with something on the fly here. Well, let's see. This doesn't have to be a Mount Rushmore, but who is your all-time favorite USC player?
Ooh. So just like background on me, I like those gritty guys that just like constantly work and, always put in the work. You don't really see them as being like the top player on the team, but like background on me, like my favorite player all time on the Angels is Darren Erstad. Like super gritty guy, always worked hard, always seemed to just like go 110% every time he was on the field. So like a guy like that for me was like Kareem Kelly as a kid. I don't know why. Dude just went all out every time he was on the field. Definitely wasn't the most talented player in that wide receiver core, but he was like the most consistent. And that consistency is something that like I always take to heart, whether that's personal life, sports life, got to be consistent in everything you do. So just knowing that like Kareem Kelly was that guy, obviously didn't have that like stellar NFL career, but that was my guy that I like grew up, and he was like one of my favorite players growing up. If I had to pick a guy on the defensive side of the ball, because I talked a lot of offense already, probably Troy Polamalu.
Nice.
Just another like consistent, gritty dude who always goes 120% every time he's on the field.
Yeah, wasn't the biggest, but he just had a nose for the ball, and he just knew what he had to do on the field. So, but yeah, no, that's a good one. I haven't heard.
I should have said Groots. I should have said Good.
I was thinking that.
Oh
Man.
Yeah.
Underrated right there.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely underrated dude.
Yep.
Real quick, I want to give a shout out to our guy Kristen. Thanks for the $5 dono. So my guy, fight on. And then you don't have to say this, but I don't know who. I'm not even going to try to say your name here, but
yes, we appreciate you.
It's Cooper, guys. Come on.
Yeah, my dog knows all.
Is that what? Okay.
Yeah, his dog's his source. All right. Any another question for you, B Jones? You got any other questions?
You're a local guy, right, Rusty? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm out in Temecula.
Okay, so you grew up in Temecula, or with the high
No,
school?
I grew up in the Valley, so I've been around LA my entire life.
Okay, what high school, if you don't mind?
Went to Calabasas.
That's right, you did. I do remember that. Sorry.
Yeah.
What year, if you don't mind?
2010.
Okay, so you're a little younger than myself.
You graduated in 2010
From high school, yeah.
All right. Dang. I graduated in 2007, so
Okay.
I feel old now.
Oh man.
What year did you so you attended USC from 2011 to 2015?
So I graduated in 16. I told you I
Oh yeah.
hung around a little bit too long. Finished up an extra degree.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I would have
Partied a little bit
tried to
too much.
extend it. I would have got
What was
that additional. I would have requested an additional year from the NCAA. Like, hey guys, I need one more.
Yeah, I had my redshirt year and then I had my 4 years, I guess.
That's
So I got one here for you. So out of all of our haters, college wise, who is your favorite to go after, or who's your favorite to like kind of like call out or whenever they go after you?
Ooh. I mean, like Oregon's the easiest, just because like if you haven't won anything, you just shouldn't be talking much. Like head-to-head stuff, that's great. Congratulations, go hang a banner for a regular season win. But if you haven't actually won a championship, won anything crazy, like you don't deserve to be talking. Oregon's easy. Notre Dame, I mean, my favorite, they lost my favorite talking point this year, which was they haven't won a New York Six game in the last 25 years. Congratulations. They haven't won a national championship though since before the internet existed. So keep that one in your back pocket when you talk to Notre Dame fans.
There you go. I
wish there were more. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, you're saying?
No, you're good. You're good.
I was gonna say, with Oregon, right? What is your what pro team would you compare them to?
Oof. I mean, who hasn't won a Super Bowl? What, the Detroit Lions?
It could be any sport.
It could be any sport. It could be the NBA.
Any sport. They're the Clippers.
I told you, B. Jones.
They're the Clippers. That's easy.
So B Jones is
Padres
actually a
beat
Clipper fan, so that
Was.
might hurt him.
Oh
Yes.
no!
Yes,
I take it back. They're the Padres.
Now I decommitted from the Clippers, man.
All right, we got a question from the chat here from Anthony James. What was your first impression on Chad Bowden?
Chad Bowden, let's go. I mean, who wouldn't be impressed by what he's doing? Not just with the organizational front, so getting everything from an operational standpoint, hiring who he hired, some of the guys, the guy from what's his Steinmecker or whatever his name is from
Max,
from Wisconsin, Dre Brown from Illinois, bring in some legit scouting into the front office, which USC desperately needed. You can't be dependent on the coaches to do scouting in modern college football 100% of the time. So really making sure that somebody's there from a video standpoint and being able to, find folks that are kind of flying under the radar or confirm your priors about top recruits. Like, people forget, like, these coaches don't pay attention to these recruiting stars and recruiting systems. They do their own research. Sometimes it matches up with, the stars that, some of these recruits have. And sometimes we're going for a 3-star under the radar guy that ends up a 4-star at the end of the year. So that scouting aspect is so important. So I think just from an organizational standpoint, he's done an outstanding job. Even just from like the guys that were already there, like Weston, who's able to not only get those guys organized, but like just change the way that we're communicating with recruits, right? So there were guys last year, 2024 class or 2024 class, 2025 class, sorry. We're like, we didn't hear from USC for weeks at a time. Now they kind of have this like full approach from, all in approach from the not only the recruiting staff but the coaching staff, where if you're not hearing from one person, you're hearing from another person. It looks like they have what I call kind of like a diamond team structure, where you have the coach kind of leading the recruitment and then 2 guys on the ancillararies that are calling the recruit at all times. So, that's, really just kind of more unique in what it takes from a recruiting standpoint. Then you take like the NIL thing. I mean, the guy was in the car going to top donors, some that I know he went to personally, and got them on board with donating to House of Victory for the first time since House of Victory has been around. So top donors to USC's athletics are now donating to House of Victory. I think there's a lot of energy in the building. I think there's just a lot of organization in the building. That's not to say like Annie Hansen and what she was doing from a recruiting standpoint wasn't like top tier. It's just a different approach, probably a more modern approach, probably more unique. I think most of us have seen the video of Chad Bowden trying to get Marcus Freeman to jump out of a plane or whatever it was at Notre Dame. I'm excited for what he's going to do for official visits. Who knows? We may see Lincoln Riley jump out of a plane. I wish somebody had asked him that during his intro press conference.
Yeah.
But even like, Keelier also had her interview with him, and like the dude just gets it, right?
Yeah.
Like he's doing all the things that we as fans have wanted him to do. And what we've wanted to see. So like, first impressions, like we got a home run, like grand slam home run of an absolute great hire that led to multiple other hires that led to all of this that we're seeing right now. So, you don't get the number 1 recruiting class with like 17 commits in the middle of March without much effort. And like the focus on Southern California is like probably 75% of the reason. And that's mostly driven by Chad Bowden kind of pushing for it. So you can thank him for some of that. Obviously, Lincoln Riley and staff were already planning on doing that. So it's not really like a change in strategy. It's just going all in on it. So, I think it's all a really, really good thing. Just having him in the building.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead,
I was
Raul.
gonna say, no, appreciate you sharing that information, Rusty. And I have a question for you since you mentioned Lincoln Riley. What's your opinion on Lincoln Riley's tenure so far? I know we started off on a high note, kind of hit a little rough patch, and it seems like he's made some adjustments and things are going to look on the bright side. But just wanted to get your take on his tenure so far.
Yeah, I mean, no one can say that it's been a success so far. I don't think anyone would be confused with the last couple of years being a success. I think there are some circumstances that got in the way of that being a success. One is obviously the roster, taking over for a Clay Helton roster that was not the best. Clay Helton took us from the number one ranked roster in America to number 15 by the time he left. So cupboards were pretty bare. That's not to say we didn't have great skill players. Obviously, front seven were an issue, and then offensive line were an issue. Those were basically non-existent. We didn't recruit a 4 or 5 star defensive tackle, I think, since 2018. So that just shows how poor the recruiting was on that end. So obviously that circumstance coming into the NIL era and USC really not having a game plan is another kind of circumstance.
Right.
You can only do so much as a head coach to kind of step in and take that over. But obviously there's some issues there from an administrative standpoint and just from a donor standpoint. USC has smart donors. They're not going to donate just to donate. So they need to have something to believe in. There was a lot of belief in Lincoln Riley. There still is a lot of belief in Lincoln Riley. I think that the hiring of Chad Bowden has re-energized the donor base. So I think that's a huge positive, obviously, and just making sure that we're constantly communicating with those folks and not just throwing a one-off event and expecting millions of dollars of donations, like actually having conversation with those folks. But getting back to Chad Bowden, or excuse me, Lincoln Riley, yeah, no one would say it's a success. I am hesitant to think that Lincoln Riley forgot how to be a head coach, right? He has been quick to adjust, not quick, but he's adjusted, right? Defensive coordinator Alex Grinch kept him a little bit too long, but he's gone. Then, we have, probably took a little bit too long from a GM hiring standpoint. We ended up with the right guy. We're good there.
Yeah.
So, I think we're starting to see adjustments. Every single thing that you can say negatively about Lincoln Riley, he looks in the mirror and tries to adjust. So I think from that point of view, that's a major thing. I work personally in consulting. I work with folks who are very, very stubborn, that don't see their weaknesses. And even when you tell them their weaknesses, they don't believe you and they never change and their things kind of stagnate. That's not what's happening at USC. It's not what's happening under Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley is making changes. I think we're going to see some differences on offense, hopefully, with play calling. As far as play calling is concerned, probably a little bit more heavy in the run game, probably more Big Ten friendly, take a little bit of stress off of Jada Mayava. And that's another, adjustment. So I wouldn't say that, anything that we're doing is a negative by any concern. I think we're kind of on the right trajectory. It took a couple seasons, but I think also, you think about the GM staff, Lincoln Riley can now focus on being a head coach. He doesn't need to focus on 15 different things. Doesn't need to focus on recruiting. Doesn't need to focus on scouting. Obviously needs to be there for them, be cognizant of those things, but he doesn't need to do those things and really focus on them. So, I think that's obviously a huge positive. The defensive coaching staff and the way that he's kind of hiring those folks, I mean, that's one of the biggest complaints about Lincoln Riley. So again, another big thing that he's changed. So probably a long-winded answer there, but I don't think it's a failure. I don't think it's success. I think it's somewhere in the middle. I'm hopeful that this year is going to be better. I'm even more hopeful that once we have this recruiting class signed and brought in, it's going to be even better then. So, I think Lincoln Riley said 2 years ago, when he first got here, after his first year, this would be the least talented roster that he has at USC. Absolutely think that's going to be it that way. So we'll see how that kind of turns out, but that's kind of my viewpoint.
No, like you definitely hit the nail on the head here. A lot of fans are kind of counting out Lincoln Riley, but there are changes, and he's been making. He's learning along the way. He's still a young guy, so
Right.
he has a lot to learn about being a head coach. He was kind of thrust right into it the moment that Bob Stoops retired, but yeah, he's making changes. He's still learning.
Not to cut you off, BC, but essentially this is his first year at USC being on a level playing field as everyone else.
Yeah.
So been playing catch up for all these years. So I mean, obviously there's things that he could have done, football wise on the field that could have put us in a better position these last couple of years. But those are what we have to take. With his learning curve, him being a young head coach. He's still a young head coach. He's still what 40 years old.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, you hit it right on the head, man. But I think we kind of as fans, we gotta kind of give him the benefit of the doubt, man. He had to be more than a head coach, opposed to other head coaches that we like to compare him to.
Yeah, more than what we thought he was. We thought he was mainly just being a head coach, but there was a lot more stuff going on in the background that clearly we didn't understand until recently.
Yeah.
But
the expectations were high after that first year because we, in my opinion, that first year we exceeded that first year based on what the roster he ended up getting that year. So that's what made it a little bit difficult for fans to understand. But like you said, we were playing catch up all this time, so I'm excited about this season.
Yeah. And Guns got a question or two here. Go ahead and shoot.
Yeah, it's a 2-part question. First part is what are your thoughts on Jen Cohen, aka Mama Jen? And then the second part, kind of going into some of the stuff that we talked about. What are your expectations for this upcoming year? I know we're still early. It's just about to be spring, practice and all that. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't say enough good things about Jen Cohen. Everything that Chad Bowden did when he came in, Jen Cohen did when she came in. Getting the donor base excited again, making sure that things were running smoothly. The athletic director, her biggest job is donations, making sure that the right infrastructure is in place. And that includes, stadiums, facilities, all that stuff. And then obviously making hiring and firing decisions. Sometimes if there's an opening, like a head coach, obviously that's, her ability to do so is even more so, but just collaborating with the coaching staff and being able to provide the funding so that we can go out and make those top tier hires. So I think she did a really good job of establishing herself right away. She held a lot of meetings with top donors to the university. She made sure that infrastructure plans that were in place found funding. So like the USC, the new football facilities didn't really have a top donor for it. It had plans, it had a dream, but it needed donors for it. So she went out, found top donors for it. I think it's fully funded at this point, if I'm not mistaken. Has a name associated, which obviously means you got a really, really nice donation there. But even like lacrosse stadium, women's soccer, like all those folks, I think track and field was under her view too. Like they upgraded and upgraded and upgraded. And that takes donors, that takes relationships. So she's done all the right things there. From a hiring perspective, if she doesn't have the money for us, we're not able to hire Rob Ryan. We're not able to hire Danton Lynn. We're not able to hire Doug Belk. We're not able to hire Eric Henderson. We are probably settling with other dudes. And that's not to say like USC isn't a destination. It's just a realization. A lot of people didn't want to come into USC's defensive rooms and, just based on their perceived talent, although the talent was there, they didn't want to take on the Alex Grinch project that we had previously and try and mold those dudes. So the fact that we were able to find a guy that was already living in LA and Danton Lynn, pay him top dollar, give him a housing stipend, do all those things that make USC, able to throw its weight around. That's all Jen Cohen. So I couldn't say enough good things about Jen Cohen. As far as this year, I think things are going to live and die through, I think unfortunately Jaden Mayava. We'll see how he looks after spring ball. He's working with a really good QB coach, and he's been working with a really good QB coach. So I think that's a huge positive. He did fire his previous agent, who was also his QB coach. So he has been working. He has been out there. So I'm excited to see what he brings to the table. He has all the talent in the world, from arm strength to legs to all that. I think it's just the mental side of the game, and that's just, it just takes the game slowing down. So, he's working with one of the top QB gurus in the nation. He really has all the ability to do what he needs to do in order to get better. So I'm excited to see what that looks like. I'm excited to see some of the transfers. I think the biggest thing is, where does the depth chart shake out from the defensive line, and how do things shake out on offensive line? So, things can change between spring practice and the fall, obviously, with the portal. But those are probably the key things that I'm paying attention to right now.
Yeah, no, that's really great to hear that Mayava's putting in the work for it. I know a lot of USC fans are excited to hear that he has a QB's coach, and I know that's what a lot of people are a little concerned about is Jaden Mayava, but he is 3-1 in 6-point games, so he has the ability, right, Guns?
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, definitely serviceable in my opinion.
Winners win.
Real quick shout out to the Ohio podcast. He says, "What's up, my USC brethren? One thing we can agree on: USC fans are obnoxious. Tip to the
Oregon fans.
Just like that, bro.
Oregon fans, BC, not USC fans.
Oh, my bad. Sorry. Yeah, Oregon, but no. The Ohio podcast. We've had him on here on one of our shows, so I definitely shout outs to him. So. But
I really agree on that 100%, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah,
we told you guys, man. We told you. We warned the whole Big Ten that about Oregon fans before they got here.
I don't know if this is for you, Rusty, or I'm just going to keep calling you Rusty.
We're going to call him Ken. We're going to call this guy Ken.
What will USC spring portal be? Do you is there any rumblings that you know of possibly with the spring portal?
There's rumblings, but I think it all depends on how things shake out and after spring practice, once we kind of evaluate what the needs are. There's some obvious needs, obviously, but I think the unique part of bringing in guys from other parts of the country, so like a Dre Brown, bringing in Chad Bowden, these are dudes that were established recruiters at their respective universities. So that kind of opens up another layer of the portal that is already an established relationship. So I'll just kind of leave it at that. But there are some rumblings out there. We'll see what actually turns out.
Don't get my hopes up there, Rusty.
Yeah.
But we have Anthony James saying, sorry, one more question. Rusty, do you give Juju Watkins a bigger bag to stay next year?
Juju's making more money than she would in the WNBA. She actually can't go to the WNBA until she's 21. So she's there for another 2 years.
I did not know.
Weird WNBA rule that they'll probably end up changing. So.
Well, I'm glad they have that rule because then we have her for another 2 more years. So,
yeah.
Even if it did change, Rusty, I just don't see it being a thing. Like women leaving early, just
Yeah, like
she's making more USC than she would in the WNBA.
Right.
They can't really kind of trying to coax her with, oh, you'll be the number 1 pick and then you're going to have this contract. Like until they change how the WNBA pays their players, then they're gonna be waiting for these top picks to come until they run out of eligibility. Because the girl from Notre Dame, she's probably making more money at Notre Dame than she would in the NBA or in women's NBA.
Yeah, definitely.
Will you be at the game Saturday, Rusty?
Saturday, I am looking to go to the game. I'll see. Have a family obligation, but trying to get out of it to go to the game. We'll see.
All right, let's see what other questions I think they have here. Someone says, where would you rank NIL compared to OU/Texas A&M?
So I'm guessing that's Oregon. We can't. I'm not going to say we can't compete with those, but we have some pretty good funding. They have some pretty good funding. I think it's just a little bit different as far as where our funds come from. Obviously, we know that Oregon is pretty much all driven from Phil Knight. So if there is a check needed, he's willing to write it. So I think it's a little bit different than your typical NIL donation campaign like we would have, where we collect and then we spend. They have the ability to go to a Phil Knight and say, we need this. Are you willing to spend it? And it's a yes or no. Texas A&M is more traditional, but they have so much money down there. They have no idea what to do with it. So they're going to give it to their university.
Yeah.
So I guess that's long-winded answer to say that we are behind them, but not negatively so.
Yeah, I feel like when it comes to us right now that we're getting pretty established, like it's going to be harder for teams to just say we're going to throw a bag at you, because we can still throw the bag as well. It's just maybe not as pretty, but we have the education, we have the networking that you can do post NFL. So we have a lot more to offer than the other team up north would have. So,
oh yeah.
I mean, just look at Rusty's Twitter. He'll tell you all about Southern Cal. We got way more to offer than just money.
Yeah, man. It's a whole nother universe down here. I was just looking because I was meant to look at Eugene weather when I'm for like what's typical in November, and I was just looking at their 10-day forecast. And like, it is all rain. It is 75 degrees today in LA. So
see, that's what I call depression. Yeah, like why would you want to be like, I'm sure the bag is nice, but like you're going to be depressed while you have the bag.
Exactly. You can spend it a little bit better here.
Right.
Yeah, a lot more to do out here. It's better weather. You just gotta, the only thing that you just gotta worry about is earthquakes, but that's not that bad.
Hey, Rusty, I have a question. I know you go at it with every fan base out there, but I guess what's one fan base you actually respect or for the most part get along with?
I mean, Washington is cool for the most part. Michigan's cool for the most part. Nebraska, I think those are the major ones. I don't know. I think just the ones that don't go at you because they know where they stand. Like Nebraska is a blue blood. They have plenty of championships. It's been rough for them, but they have plenty of championships. So I don't know if they're humbled or whatever it is, but they have a great history. Michigan, they know where they stand. They won a championship a year ago. They're not trying to blast it down your throat. Yeah. Washington, I don't know. I think it's just the fact that we've been with them for so long, and there's a mutual distaste for their rival. I wouldn't call it our rival, because our rival's Notre Dame and UCLA. Their rival, we have a mutual distaste for, so it just kind of lends to us being a little bit closer, I guess.
Not gonna lie, I was kind of sad that they decided to tag along with us to come to the Big Ten. So they
Washington?
Yeah.
No, the other team that to throw jerseys at people. So
gotcha.
But yeah. All right. Well, anyone else have any questions that you guys would like to give Cooper? I'll try to say that.
I think we're good. You want to stay, Rusty, to break down the wide receiver room? You're more than welcome.
I'll stick around. Yeah.
Let's do
Yeah,
it.
we're having a good time. Let's keep it going.
Cool. Let's chop some balls, then, guys.
And then, Rusty, before we get started, there's a fun fact for you, just in case you don't know. But someone out of these four people sitting here could run a 4.540.
This guy right here.
You believe that, Rusty? He says he can run a 4.5.
Who's timing? Is he timing?
So if you, I mean, I could probably share the video with you. I'll do that. But
You gotta do
no,
it.
I
You gotta
made a slip of the tongue like 2 years back saying that I could run a 4.5, and everyone and their mom knows I can't do that. But they wanted to see a video, so I made a video of me running, and it was solid. Don't talk to Kristen about it. But
Chris, what was his time, Chris?
don't talk about that. But yeah, it's for the members only because they don't want to see the speed, so they don't want to be jealous. So, but no. What Mr. Rahul says he can kick a 30-yard field goal, and we're still waiting to see that. So,
Yeah, we're talking about you right now, man. We ain't talking about Rahul.
hey,
Yeah,
he
30-yard field goal.
wanted to call me out, so I had to call him out.
Chris has a request. So read his super chat.
The super chat. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's about the Padres.
Okay. He says in his Will Smith voice, keep his mother effing Padres out of your mother effing mouth. I added the extra stuff in there. You got to add that.
And he said that it was directed towards Guns and B. Jones.
I don't know what I did. I'm not even a baseball fan.
I don't think.
No, yeah, I'll take full credit. I mean, to me, the Padres are the Oregon of baseball. You know, you have the colorful jerseys, 0 championships, basically. So yeah, I'm all here for the smoke, Chris, and all fun. But yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and get into this wide receiver breakdown here. So, what's going to end up happening is B Jones is just going to give us a name, and we're going to talk about how we feel like where they are when it comes to their standings in this roster here. So, B Jones, go ahead and take it away.
All right. So, of course, we know we had a couple of departures over since the last season with Zach and Deuce hitting the portal. So, but we know that, we had some guys, our most productive guys are still with us. So I guess we'll start with them. 2 guys that we know will be superstars, in my opinion, at least. We'll start with Mekhi first, man. I don't think I really have to tell you much about Mekhi. You guys all seen it in action. So just give me your thoughts on what you guys think Mekhi will do this year.
We'll let Rusty go first on this one here.
I think Mekhi is going to be, I don't want to say wide receiver 1 because we have 2 really talented guys that can be wide receiver 1. Mekhi is going to be that guy that is your consistent, always open, home run hitter for us throughout this year, in my opinion. That's not to say that, I won't go too far with Jacoby. Well, let's talk about Mekhi. I think he's going to have a breakout year. Sorry, dog barking in the background. He's going to have a breakout year. I think this is this offense is very much made for him. I think that when Lincoln Riley's offense is humming, it has a guy like Mekhi Lemon. So I think this is the year that he is that 1,000-yard receiver plus for us.
Yeah. See, the thing about Mekhi Lemon, like we have been telling people that he's gonna be the next kind of Amon-Ra because he has that kind of dog in him. He's a gritty kind of player. He fights for every yard, and every time I see anyone talking about our wide receiver room, their first thing is to say that, oh, Zachariah Branch is gone, so you guys are pretty much screwed. Like, you lost your most explosive player out there, and they clearly it just shows that they don't watch USC football. They just want to spew out the first thing that they see when they see Zachariah Branch gone. So Mekhi Lemon, he basically sparked our kickoff returns this year, and all they want to say is that, Mekhi, he has our leading receiver, but he only has one touchdown. But we'll get into the other guy who kind of scored all those touchdowns. But there's plenty of opportunities that we know that Mekhi is going to get when it comes to next year for touchdowns. So don't let that one touchdown fool you. He is still one of our best receivers. So just be patient. He's going to get those touchdowns. So, but yeah, it's kind of hard to add on more to Mekhi than if you don't watch him. So,
Yeah.
Guns?
Yeah, I mean, for me, he's an all-around kind of wide receiver, in my opinion. I mean, he's somebody that, in a way, kind of reminds me like, Amon Ra, kind of, in some aspect. But, I mean, he can stretch the field for us. I expect big things for him. I think, he definitely excelled the second half of the season for us. So excited to see, what he can do in this offense. Because like Rusty said, this offense is picture perfect for him.
Yeah, bro.
No, I would agree. I think he has all the potential to hit to break that 1,000-yard mark, like Rusty said. So he's a great route runner. So I expect really big things from him this year.
Yeah, I mean, we said it last year. We tried to tell people, before the season even started, that Mekhi was probably going to be one of our better receivers, or if not the best. From a receiver standpoint, he was just more polished than the other people in his class, that came in. But so we will be moving on now to Jacoby. Obviously, you guys know, man, he's a touchdown machine, red zone nightmare, jump ball nightmare. Routes are just improving daily. If you watch his route running from the beginning of the season to the end, you see the improvements there. And this year, I think he's just going to take the football world by storm. The guy's 6'4", super long arms, the hands twice the size of a normal human beings, and with a 40-plus inch vertical, man. So, I mean, what can you ask for? What more can you ask for out of a wide receiver? So, you guys give me your thoughts on Jacoby.
Rusty?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we saw in the Las Vegas Bowl is the expectation for Jacoby going forward. Drags over the field, slants across the field, getting open, making the first move on a corner and getting open, going deep, making sure that he is the quarterback's best weapon, but also, and this is probably didn't show up on film enough for the rest of us, but he blocked the shit out of Texas A&M that game. That was the best blocking that I've seen in Jacoby all season. So if he continues to show that effort, continues to get open, we continue to target him in the way that we did during the Las Vegas Bowl, I think the sky's the limit for him. I think he's the kind of guy where, and I hate to say this, like he's kind of like your Keyshawn type character where he always wants the ball, and I think that can be a negative for him where, he takes his focus out of the game a little bit, but you kind of want your wide receiver to have that edge to him. So it's not something that I'd ever want to take away from him. I would just hope that he keeps it a little bit more in check so that he doesn't check himself out of the game by any means during, crucial moments. He continues to run his route the way he runs his route, and he doesn't, take that too personally that he can get the ball during a specific play.
Exactly. Well said. Go ahead, Guns.
Yeah, sky's the limit for this guy. He's a star. All the potential and talent is there. excited to see what he can do this upcoming year. You know, I've said it in the past. You know, 20 touchdowns. I will not be surprised if this man gets 20 touchdowns. I know that sounds probably insane, but the guy had 12 touchdowns for how many catches and targets he had. So yeah, watch out, Jeremiah Smith, because we got a real guy over here. So.
Oh wow, those are some big words there. Roll.
No, I would have to agree with everything you guys said. Right, he's has the potential to be great as well. I wouldn't be surprised if he breaks that 1,000-yard barrier as well. And if he gets 20 touchdowns, wouldn't be surprised. I'm just excited to see what dance moves he takes out there, celebrations, since he seems to do that often. So I think us USC fans would appreciate that.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. Jacoby Lane is a good compliment. Like he's a good complimentary player or whatever. Like him and Makai, they are like really good, a really good duo. And people are sleeping on our 1 and 2 or 1A, 1B receivers because Jacoby is going to be a nightmare in the end zone. He has one of the best hands. It's crazy the stuff that he's been able to do, and some of those catches that he made in that Las Vegas Bowl. They were insane. So, and also in the Notre Dame game, he pretty much was taking over in that second half. So I think as long as he can stay fully locked in and kind of stay away from some Twitter stuff, but other than that, the dude, he has all the potential to be a Biletnikoff winner this year. And as long as Jaden can get the ball to him, then at least put it in the vicinity of him, Jacoby's going to come down with it. So,
yep. All right. So we mentioned 1A and 1B. Before we get to the next person, I kind of want to leave that to you guys. Who do you guys think will be 2? Then, if we say 1A and 1B, who do you guys think will be that third guy?
You want to take lead on this one, Rusty?
I'm gonna go with Jay Fair.
Oh, Jay Fair.
I think
that's fair.
He's the kind of guy that came into the system a little bit late. Probably deserved a few more reps, although not in practice. So I don't know if he deserves the reps. But just based on his production at Auburn, I think he's the kind of guy that has the speed to take the top off the defense, run some under routes and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see what we can do with Jay Fair next year.
All right. I was thinking Prince. Is this Strock? How do you say his last name? I don't know, but okay. Either way, though, if you've seen some of his tape at Boise State, I think he does have the potential to take over. But I almost went with DJ, but I think Prince has a good shot.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Rusty. I think Jay Fair. Definitely think a year under his belt in the system was going to help a lot for him. So I think he can definitely step up and take that role.
Bro.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say Jeff Fair because of the fact that he's going to have another year under his belt under the Lincoln Riley offense, and then just like I've mentioned it with any other position group, that experience. You can't teach experience, so I think that's going to play a big role and take a leap this year.
Okay.
Real quick, shout outs to Kristen. He another $2 dono. He says Micah Hudson's back in the portal, but
he is. Yeah, it sounds like he's going to be returning to Texas Tech.
Yeah, so that's going to be short lived.
Right.
So. But yeah, go ahead, B Jones.
Oh, yeah. So I mean,
sorry, I need to interrupt you, Rusty. If you ever need to go, just let us know.
No, you guys are good. Let's run it.
So I don't disagree at all. Jay Fair definitely has experience, but I don't know. It might be my bias because I know who this guy trains with, and I know that he's put out some pretty. Well, he trained Amon-Ra, I'll put it like that. DJ Jordan, man, he trains with the same guys that coached up Amon-Ra. So I'm gonna have to go with DJ, man, for my third. I think he's gonna really show you guys DJ's polished, man. I know he didn't get to show much, due to some injuries, but DJ can play, man. He can ball, and I think you guys will be impressed. Hopefully, we get to see him this spring. But whenever we do get to see him, man, you guys will see exactly what I'm talking about.
Are you going based off his college football 25?
No, no. But he is a baller there too. If you guys are playing it, running a dynasty with SC. But
Yeah.
right.
Next player.
Yep. So I guess we covered DJ and Jay on that one, right?
I guess.
So. So we do have some veteran guys that we didn't really get to see much of. You guys got thoughts on Jaden Richardson?
Oh, I thought he was a senior last year, so he's coming back this year.
I'm sorry, no, he wasn't. I'm sorry, I'm reading. He definitely was a redshirt senior. But I think that's everyone from the roster, so I think we should move.
I mean, what are your guys? I know we touched on Jordan, but I would have to agree, B. Jones. I think he's set up to have a big year this year. I mean, it's going to be his a redshirt last year, and he's going to be a redshirt freshman this year. I mean,
I think Cooper disagrees.
That's correct.
No, he was excited about it.
I think that's all right. So Cooper does agree with you, Raul. So we do have some young guys to talk about, though. Some incoming freshmen. Let's start with Corey Sims. Listen, if you guys haven't cut on his tape, you're doing yourself a disservice. I got high hopes for this kid. Standing at 6'3", 205, St. Louis, Missouri. Christian Blizzard Academy, I believe. So caught 79 passes for 1,049 yards and 12 touchdowns there. So he was originally committed to Mizzou, and we stole him away. Give me your thoughts on incoming freshman Corey Sims.
Go ahead, Rusty.
Yeah, so big body dude. I think he already has basically a college body. Would like to see him develop a little bit more speed. But other than that, like he's his body at least is college ready. So just from that regard, probably see some minutes this year, whether that's garbage time, special teams. But I think when you're a true freshman coming into a Lincoln Riley wide receiver room, you look for playing time anytime you can get it. So I'm excited to see him develop. I think he's, sky's the limit for him. Super underrated dude, in my opinion. To just like you said, B. Jones.
Yeah, when it comes to Corey Sims, I think he has probably the best chance out of the incoming receivers to have an immediate impact. I'm not sure if he's going to get the starting at any point this season, but he definitely has a good chance. He has the size. He has some good route running abilities, and I think he definitely was underrated coming out of high school. He definitely should have been a higher he should have been at least a 4-star, but I attribute that to the USC curse. Whenever you commit to USC, you automatically get docked some points for that. So, but yeah, I'm excited to see Corey. He's definitely one of the players that out of the skill positions that I'm excited to see.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite incoming wide receivers. Liked his film from the jump once we offered him, and then we really dove into him. Don't sleep on Missouri. They're starting to pick up on some wide receivers and just players overall. I mean, Ryan Wingo, he's at Texas, right? He's a Mizzou guy. So they're really starting to develop, high school kids over there. So that's great to see. And it's great that he's already on campus. So kind of like what Rusty's saying, right? With the speed, I agree with that. So him being there early maybe can kind of get him, into place and get improved in terms of that. But yeah, great frame, and excited to see what he can do for us.
Raul?
Pretty much what you guys said. Excited for the kid. I think he can, at least the first few games, I do expect a lot of our freshmen to potentially get some playing time.
Yeah, definitely. Next, B. Jones, you're on mute.
Speaking of, we have another true freshman, a guy who can really take the top off of a defense, man, in my opinion. So I think he's a guy that I think could probably see some time this year out of these freshmen that we're talking about here, and that's Romero Ice, 5'11", 170, and the kid can fly. 4-star recruit out of Milford Hill Academy in Gwinnett, Maryland. Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, I think this would be my pick for a guy who can make an impact, whether that's special teams or as a receiver this year. I mean, because of his speed. Give me your thoughts on the guy. Starting with you, Rusty.
Yeah. I mean, great speed, great hands, ton of highlight catches on his senior film, his junior film. Really exciting player, probably underrated too. But I can see him being like maybe like a next like Taj Washington, Jordan Addison type, kind of like a hybrid between the two, where Taj Washington probably developed hands as he got more playing time. Jordan Addison kind of already had those hands going into his early playing days at Pitt. So kind of a hybrid between the two. I'm excited about him kind of stepping on the field and what he can do for a wide receiver and for our offense, just to open up the offense.
Yeah, so when it comes to Romeo, I feel like as long as Lincoln Riley uses him properly, I think he has a good shot. Like he definitely he has the ability to just like go streaking down the field. So I'm excited to see that, and it definitely he feels. I feel like this is going to be Lincoln Riley's second shot with someone that's probably hopefully not as timid when it came to like kickoff returns or anything like that. Because I could see Romeo being on special teams early on. That I think that's where I see him making his initial impact is going to be on special teams, as long as he can win over that spot next to Mekhi Lemon. But I definitely see him filling I wouldn't say the gap that Zachariah Branch left, but I think he could be used as a Zachariah and actually getting some separation. So,
yeah, dude's a speedster, can take top off the defense. Very interested in and excited to see what he can do on special teams. Like you said, BC. The guy played special teams in high school, so he can definitely take it to the house and yeah. So once he gets over here in summer, he can just lock in and kind of take a role his first year.
Similar to what you guys said, I do think he's going to make an impact on that special teams. Excited to see what he can bring. I wouldn't surprise me if he does become our kick returner or punt returner.
Yep. All right. So next guy, man, who's also a speedster coming in, Tanu Kines, coming in at 6'1", 185 from Houston, Texas. I mean, this kid is another. Like I said, he's a speedster, man. He's a member of the 2025 247 Freaks list, running a 10.45 100-meter dash in the state of Texas. We know Texas produces a lot of fast athletes, man. So, he has a brother who played at Hawaii. So, he comes from pedigree of Division I athletes, man. I feel like Tanu could be the same way. I think Romero and Tanu both have a shot to see the field early, man. So, give me your thoughts. Rusty, start with you.
We're in a 10.45. That's insane.
10.45.
Jesus, that's like that's like legit tracks. That's unreal. Yeah, I mean, I think he is another high ceiling guy. I think we've got probably one of the most underrated wide receiver class that I think we've ever had coming into USC. And I think part of that is scouting. Part of that is just knowing our guys. I mean, even with you look at the recruiting rankings, like almost every guy went from a 3-star to a 4-star and a high 4-star throughout all of last year. So, that just speaks to, our ability to find talent like that. But yeah, I think he's a super high ceiling guy, great hands, big playability. Another guy could take the roof off the offense or off the defense. But, I think he can also have the ability to play like a Mekhi Lemon. So hopefully he comes in and plays to that capability.
All right, go ahead and go Raul.
Same. Just excited about see what he can bring. I agree with Rusty. Our wide receiver class last year, super underrated. So it wouldn't surprise me if some of these guys, become top 3 round picks in the NFL. I think they have the potential to be great here, especially in the Lincoln Riley offense.
Yeah, I mean, this is somebody that's perfect for Lincoln's offense, like Mekhi Lemon, for example. I think that's a pretty good comp. I would probably say Tunick's probably faster right now. I assume so, but that'd be a great race in the future. But yeah, somebody that can that fits in nicely. Excited about the potential high ceiling kid, and definitely people were recruiting him. I would say like just the rating, right? Probably the rating wasn't to that level of how many schools were really recruiting him. So definitely underrated kid, and excited to see what he can do.
Yeah. So I didn't mention it. Go ahead.
Oh, go for it.
I didn't mention it, but Romero Eisen, his 100 mid-year was 10.68. So he's right behind Tanu. So on a good day, who knows? So it'll be good to see. I'm sure they're going to be having those conversations, and if they're not already, so maybe we can get that on film, man. A race between the two. But last but not least,
wow,
we'll talk about our freshman receiver. I'm sorry, you had something to say?
Oh, I didn't go, but that's fine. Go
Oh,
for
my
it.
bad. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that the thing that I think Tanu Kynes is like underrated that people don't really talk about is his run after catch. Like the dude, he can be physical and he can brush off tackles. So I know they say he's like 5'11" on 3, but I think he's over the 5'11" or so. But he's definitely he can be physical when he needs to. He's not just a speedster. So just looking at his highlights when I did a video on him, he's definitely physical. So. I'm excited to see that. Like I've seen some of his stiff arms. He does a good stiff arm.
So if you guys haven't seen that video, man, make sure you guys check that out. Okay, now we'll move on to Prince Strong, 6'5", 211, out of Fort Pierce, Florida. Originally from the Bahamas, we moved here after. I'm sorry.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, yep. Originally from Bahamas, we moved here after Hurricane Dorian. He relocated to Florida. He actually ran track too in high school. Ran 400-meter dash in a 5.19. So which is pretty solid speed too, man, for a guy. He definitely has a long stride. Caught 33 passes for 773 yards his senior year and 10 touchdowns. Played at Boise State. Give me guys' thoughts on Prince Strong and what do you think he'll bring to this wide receiver room this upcoming season?
Go, Rusty.
I mean, good combination of size and strength and height. So obviously had some playing time at Boise State, played at a really high level, and in an offense that featured a really good running back. So the fact that he was able to, 15, 16 yards a catch for him, that's absurd. Yeah, big guy, tons of speed. He has that NFL pedigree with his brother in the NFL, so he knows what it takes to get there. So I think kind of another high-level guy that could work his way into the rotation very, very early on. Maybe wide receiver 3 to what you guys were saying, maybe wide receiver 4, but we know that Riley likes to rotate out wide receivers. So I think he'll get a good chunk of playing time and a good amount of time to produce this year.
Go ahead, Guns.
Yeah, he's a veteran. He's played for a good minute. One of the games I kind of always look at is the Penn State game. 4 catches, 40 yards, 10 yards a catch. Again, this offense isn't a throwing offense, right? It's predicated on Genti this past season. So, he was when his number was called, he produced, in my opinion. So excited to see what he can do in this offense, and yeah, we definitely always can use the size that he has.
Yeah, so when I think of Prince, I think he's kind of going to be filling that Kyle Ford kind of role for us. He's the veteran. He has reliable hands, so I'm excited to see how he does. Because we definitely need that is going to be their third year, but they didn't start their freshman year, so it's good to have some leadership in there and some game time experience. So I'm excited to see what he does, and I think he could be the number 3 next to. He's going to be battling off with DJ. So
You said Jay Fair, man. So now it's DJ.
no, I didn't say Jay Fair. I said Prince.
As your number 3?
Yeah.
Okay, you did. All right, you did. My bad. Thought I had a gotcha moment.
Nope. And Anthony James agrees with me.
So
go ahead, Raul.
No, I was just gonna say I agree. He has the potential to be that number 3 wide receiver. I hope all of these guys ball out this year, but I like his height, especially to be on the end zone. So I think he'll definitely catch a few touchdowns this year.
yeah. All I know is we better not be stuck in the red zone ever again.
No.
Between him, Jacoby, and we got guys like Walter Matthews in the tight end room, which we'll be covering sometime next week. But
Hey,
yeah,
we're forgetting one guy, and I want to give him a shout out. It's Josiah Zamora. I think that's the walk-on. He earned a scholarship right this year.
Yes,
Yep.
he did.
yeah,
So good for him, man. I'm happy for him.
yep. Shout out to Josiah.
And he went to Modern Day, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and we got his brother too. He's a walk on right now, but yeah, it's great to see that the family's staying loyal to USC.
Shout out
Hey,
to him.
He got a few catches on the spring game last year. So
He had some catches last year, too, actually, in live games. I think did he have one in the Texas A&M game? I can't recall.
I think so.
So
yeah, the rotation was pretty tight that game.
yeah, but the rotation is going to go through Jacoby and Mackay, then whoever wins that number 3 spot, in my opinion. So, but yeah. Do we have anyone else that we got to go over, or have we gone through the whole roster?
That's pretty much it. Plus, we're hitting that time, so yeah, turn it back over to you with that.
Yeah. So, if you guys have any questions right now for Rusty, any good questions here, not some questions that are just throwaway questions here, but we've been going on for a good hour and 15 minutes now, so we don't want to hold Rusty longer than we already have. So, but
Hey, you guys are good. We're having a good time here.
oh yeah,
we
definitely.
we appreciate it, Rusty. I have a question for you. If the chat has some follow-up questions, but do we finish top 3 in recruiting this year? Do you think? We'll finish in the top 3 at the very least.
So I think if we do end up getting the amount of commits that we need, or that we're targeting, which is 30, 35, 37 recruits, I think we just thought we'd end up top 3 by default.
Yeah.
I don't think there's ever been a class that big that I have ever seen. But I think the amount of points that you generate from all those guys, you kind of just end up number 1 or number 2 by default. But I think there's going to be a lot of talent in the class. I don't think it's just going to be guys just for guys. I think we have the ability to then dip into like an Andrew Williams type guy who super high ceiling, hasn't played football for many years, but has really kind of flashed when he's on the field. Guys that are underrated that could make an impact somewhere down the line. Those are like program guys that you can develop over time. I think those are the kind of guys that we can reach for in this class, while also getting those high-level 5-star guys, high-level 4-star guys along the way. So I think this will end up being a top 3 class, but we'll see.
Yeah, if we sign at least half of the top 10 guys of just California, then we have a good chance, and we have a good shot at more than half of them. I feel like we have Ryder Lyons, Brandon Arrington, Chris Henry, Mark Bowman, Cody Green, RJ, Devin, Brandon Lockhart, which we already have him, Vance Spafford, and Brady Smeagol, which we don't need a quarterback. But then right behind them, right behind him is Samote. So this is all based off on 3. So we have a good shot at getting those guys, and just adding Mark Bowman or even a Brandon Arrington, we have it really pushes us that much further ahead of Clemson, the number 2 class, Clemson, because we all know Oregon kind of dropped already. So,
Yep.
And
So actually, no, they just took the number 1 spot back, but that's going to be short lived.
wait, what?
Yeah, Oregon's number 1 right now.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they had to commit today, but don't worry about that. We got guys who haven't announced yet, so we'll be taking that back soon.
Very, very soon. We'll see.
Yep.
All right. Any other questions here? Oh, wait.
Yep.
Looks like Anthony James says, for Rusty, did you honestly support the black alternative jerseys you posted on X?
Let's go.
It is 2025. It is time for a black uniform.
Thank
at
you,
the
Rusty.
University of Southern California.
Rusty, I'm with you on that.
Xavier Griffin commented on that, by the way. There were multiple recruits that commented on that said yes to a black uniform.
Yes,
It's not for the fans, it's for the kids.
Exactly.
For the players.
Listen, I'll say this, Rusty. All traditions start somewhere.
Yep.
Like, we didn't always wear the same uniform for our whole existence. We changed the uniform before. It's not like it's not going to hurt anything. I promise. We'll still keep our same original uniforms too, man.
But it looks way too different. We changed it, but we don't do like dramatic changes. And it's just my old head thinking over here that we don't need to do any of that fancy stuff, because the black jersey reminds me of Arizona State. It really does.
Yeah.
Tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me where I'm wrong.
We have similar colors, so it's going to look like Arizona.
Yeah,
it's going to look like Iowa State.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
It's going to look like Mission Viejo. It's going to look like any other school with similar colors. But
see, I would be lying if I said I wouldn't be hyped if they did announce it. But I'm just one of those guys that's just like, let's just. I like what we got right now, and I don't feel like we need that. But if it's not like a all the time thing where we bust out random jerseys, then fine. If it's like a one-time situation where we do blackout or whatever, then I'd be okay with that.
I think we need a little change up. I mean, it was great, the Nebraska game, right? We brought out those uniforms. So it was a great, change. And not to compare to other sports for USC, but basketball, baseball, they also have black jerseys too. So it's like it is kind of a thing for USC, but just not for USC football, right? So I think it'd be good just to have a little change of jersey for like a game, and then obviously keep our tradition going.
I'll take a great one too. Just throwing it out there.
As long as we don't put our names on the back of the jerseys, I'll be okay, I guess. Because if that happens, I'd be heartbroken, actually.
Oh, God.
Look, we're Hollywood. We should absolutely lean into it. Throw out all blacks. Maybe even roll out like all white jersey on the road. Who knows?
In all honesty, though, I do think that would bring the fan base too as well. Like, I think they would buy into like doing a blackout and everyone just wearing black. So I think that would be pretty cool to see. Actually,
a blackout game would be crazy.
Yeah, especially at night at the Coliseum. Okay, I'm warming up to it a little bit. So
we'll get you over to the good side.
There you go.
I'm already there. Okay, but all right. Anyone else got any questions here? Other than that, we're going to get out of here. I'm getting hungry too myself. So, but. Go ahead, Rusty. Let people know. I feel like it's kind of dumb to have them have you tell them where to find you, because if they don't follow USC stuff, then it's just crazy that they don't know who you are. But go ahead and let people know where to find you and how to reach out to you or whatever.
Yeah. So Twitter at Fight on Rusty, Instagram at Fight on Rusty. Instagram was a placeholder account previously, but now kind of posting there, kind of bullshit memes and really, really bad edits because I like to play around with that stuff. But yeah, mainly find me on Twitter, X at Fight on Rusty. Yeah, looking forward to connecting with more of you that are out there if you don't follow me. So let's get it going.
All right, well, that's going to be the show. We really appreciate you, Rusty, getting on here. We have 320 people on here, so those are all here to see you. So we really appreciate you showing up, and I'm sure everyone else appreciates it as well. But we're going to get out of here, and until next time, guys, keep the torch burning bright and fight on.
Fight on.
Um,
Right on.
Fight on.